In today's parrot training class, we are working with a naked blue and gold macaw and his humans on clear communication through training and handling. Here at BirdTricks, we focus a lot on what we call permission-based training, where we ask the bird to interact with us through offering the bird's favorite treats, or positive associations with us where the bird desires to interact with us again in the future. We often see naked parrots in captivity because of past traumas, excessive boredom, neglect, lack of enrichment, and improper care and nutrition. Let's see how we can help these kind folks who adopted this macaw today.
What's going on?
Well, I got him in February from a place that had him for about a year, a rescue place. He was pretty high energy when we got him home and everything. He was fully plucked. Everything's been doing pretty good with him because I think they started him really well. They started him with some target training and whatnot, so he was able to step up and everything really well for me. Otherwise, he's definitely on the seasonal feeding system in the morning. I have Jamie's cookbook and everything. Stuff that we want to work on, I guess, is maybe just fine-tuning what we're doing with him. Because I think that we have an idea watching everything, but we're just kind of overwhelmed with all the information and where to kind of really pinpoint what we're doing wrong with him.
Well, to give you a heads up, you will be drinking from a fire hose today.
Got you.
So the goal for you guys is pick like 3 things that you go home and do.
Okay. Yeah.
First thing I want to point out is I love how you worked through that. A lot of problems that start are where somebody's like, oh, my bird's afraid of this, so I don't use that. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of hesitation and uncertainty, but you worked through it. And that's really good. It helps build what I refer to as emotional intelligence, where we take an irrational fear of an unfamiliar object and we train them that, hey, it's actually okay, it's not actually scary, but we help them come to that conclusion versus us just pulling away the scary object.
Right.
Is there something you'd like to work on with him while he's out?
I just want to, I know that I'm slow and I'm clumsy and I feel like he's willing and ready.
What tells you that?
But like my stand, he climbs down it, so.
So you need our stand.
Right.
Yeah, so being set up for success is a huge part.
Yes,
That's why this table that we have is 1 square foot. It limits variables. If we train him on a 4x8, foot table, he's going to go all over. He's going to chew on it, which could be self-reinforcing. He can't do that on these.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really making it so he has to be focused on us, which is why we've designed these the way we have. Have you done spin with him?
I haven't.
Okay, do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick a direction that's easiest for you to do, and then we'll stick with that direction.
Okay.
So let's see if you can get him to go 180 degrees. Nice.
Can I click back there?
That looked good to me.
Okay.
So we'll do one other thing to clean up. That looks really good. I can borrow the stick from you. Is we're going to try to do the same thing. So we'll get the 180 degrees. Make the turn. This one not pulling away from him. We'll click there and finish the behavior over here.
Right.
So we complete it, we kind of extend what we were going for.
Okay.
And that way he doesn't unwind and learn that I do a quarter turn, then I get my treat here. Yeah, he knows that once he's here, you almost kind of lure him and you continue drawing his attention with that stick. And if you have to, you flash the treat real quick.
He's ready.
Yep, so let's see if we can get a bunch of repetitions here. So pick the direction. So one thing I want to make sure is that he's not feeling like he can touch the stick and then you pull it away. So I'm coming to a spot where right here, he can't quite get it, but I'm not moving it away. So I'm getting him to turn.
It's important when training a bird to turn around in a circle that you're using the target stick as just that, a target, and not moving it around where it feels teasing or taunting to the bird. We want training to be fun for our birds, like playing catch in the backyard with your kid. And to do this, they need to feel successful in their attempts. Don't allow your bird to fail more than 3 times in a row. This is discouraging to your bird, and it makes it less likely that they'll want to interact with you in the future. To avoid failure, set your bird up for success by asking for small steps that increase in difficulty subtly. If you never caught the ball when playing catch, you wouldn't want to keep playing.
The goal is to not have to move the stick out of his view. So right here. See how I'm not pulling it away? That's a big part of this. We don't want to build frustration. So I'll have you step back in since he is wanting to focus on you.
Using a treat pouch is great for training because it is a clear sign to your bird when you put it on that it's training time and your bird's about to have the opportunity to earn its favorite treat. It will also avoid your treat hand from being distracting during a training session, like what's happening in this one. Although this macaw is anxious to interact and earn treats, you're seeing a very confused bird as well. He doesn't know what these humans want from him yet. When your training isn't going to plan, feel free to change the plan. I'm almost wondering if this is a case where luring would be more effective, just
Possibly.
using the treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the stick doesn't have quite enough value, so we'll do what she was suggesting. We'll just show the treat.
Okay.
But keep in mind, here's a lesson. Without moving your feet, go ahead and take this from me. See what's happening. So the lesson there is if she's grabbing for this and I'm pulling it away, it's going to become really frustrating for the bird. So we want to make sure that hi diver over there. We want to make sure that we're not putting the treat so close that he's like, yes, it's payday, and then we're like, just kidding, right? So just to show you one more time, I had it between my index finger and middle finger here, and so he could see that it was here, but he's not. He knows he can't quite grab it. Oh come on, but you just did it. Yep. We'll click there, and then we'll deliver over here. So I'm really being meticulous about where I'm holding that treat or the target, that it's like enough to get his attention, but he doesn't think he can grab it the entire time.
Okay.
Because then I'll just make him mad by pulling it away.
And make sure he turns all the way around to receive that treat.
Before
Like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, because he turned his head.
Yep.
So let's do that again.
But
with
otherwise,
the
that
treat.
was great.
It's about a quarter that size.
The main reason we use small treats for training is because birds have really small crops, and we don't want them to fill up on just treat foods. It also ensures that we can communicate a lot more information to the bird in our training session when we offer a treat that's eaten quickly, so the bird doesn't just forget how they got it in the first place. Dave steps back in to create what's called behavioral momentum. This is where you ask easy repetitions the bird is comfortable doing enough times in a row that it does so without hesitation, even as you very subtly increase the difficulty of each ask. Each person is going to train just a little differently, and this acts as sort of an accent to the bird, making it sometimes easier and sometimes more difficult for them to learn. We try to switch trainers as little as possible when a bird is first learning a new behavior.
Now watch this next one. I'm going to do without the treat in that hand and see if we can fake it. Okay, so no treat in those fingers. Right, so the way we were able to achieve that is behavioral momentum. So we got him following the treat, there was no treat, but he knew what to do. So we try to get him into a rhythm, and then that's where we make the subtle change. So we're not luring him around, we're changing something while we're experiencing it in that same behavioral momentum. Does that make sense? So we'll have you do what I just did. I'll click for you.
Okay.
So go ahead and do 2 lures to get him around.
Okay.
Nice. Keep it coming and pay there. Nice.
Awesome.
I'm sorry. That was close.
Starting to get a hormonal response there already.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep the rhythm going. This time, between reps, don't step out of his circle. Let's stay connected. We're gonna have to go at his pace. So, yep.
Go.
And there's the click. And now this time, pretend like you're putting a treat in your fingers, but don't actually do it. And we're gonna try to get the same behavior.
The best way to phase out luring, which is where the bird sees the treat they're about to earn, is to do things so similarly that when you eventually hide the treat from view for the first time, it goes unnoticed by the bird. It's important to phase out luring because in general, following the food is not actually learning, and we want birds to learn to troubleshoot and learn that they can learn through training rather than just mindlessly follow where the food goes.
So the only difference is just a little higher. And if you have to adapt them right closer to get them to finish the behavior, you can. But we're going to test how high we can start to go. So one small step at a time. Stay engaged. Nice. See how you're not now immediately connected with string pulling them around?
Yeah.
You're able to get a little further away. A little more relaxed posture in your cue.
Perfect.
And then this time,
like
don't step back. Stay right there.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was really good. Obviously, we're harsh on certain little details because those are things that matter. 98% of what we're doing, they're listening to our body language, not our verbal cues. So in the class the other day, I asked a lady to give a cue, and her name is Amanda. She came to 2 different master classes in 2 different cities. And one of them, she said, "Give me a kiss." And the bird went, "Mwah." And she's like, "Good." And like, "What's the cue?" She said, "Kiss." And I said, "Okay, now do it again, but right before you say give me a kiss, don't say give me a kiss." So she goes, and the bird goes, "Mwah." Right? It was all the body language. So it's the same thing with flight. I'm like, get a flight. And okay, this time do it without the verbal cue. So when we realize that it's all our body language that's communicating to the bird what the lesson is, it makes it even more important that we are eliminating variables. Meaning, if we are isolated and we are giving a very specific cue, and the only thing we're changing is the distance of that cue, we could safely say that the bird is paying attention to that. But every time we disengage and we're changing something, we might be disrupting other variables without realizing what it is. Is it that I step in now becomes a cue to spin? Maybe, maybe not, right? But I know that if we stand stationary, we have a certain amount of treats in our hand, and the only variable is changing is, okay, the first one's here, and then the next one's here, and then we're here. It's easier to isolate what your training language is versus every time you disengage and you go back into the circle, we're kind of resetting the whole picture.
Okay.
And I just want to animate this one little piece and change that. But otherwise, I think that looks really good. An interesting thing, birds predict our patterns, right? And this tour has been very revealing because every single human from all different walks of life has failed to click for the step up out of the crate 100% of the time.
I even had that in my head. I had the clicker in my hand and I still didn't do it.
Right?
So,
And I don't know why, but I'm really specific in how I word it. I say, hey, we're going to get 5 behaviors that you want more of. Let's do, and it's like, okay, that one didn't count. So if people are that predictable that we've seen that in 30 some master classes over the last 20 some days, then these birds are reading us like an open book with size 140 font. I mean, it's just blatantly obvious what our intentions are. So our goal then is to make sure we're communicating as clear as possible. And the way we do that is by eliminating those other variables of moving during a training session, and whatever we are moving is done with intention. And any behavior we want to see more of, let's go for it, let's treat for it. And treat it as a training session, especially if it's one of those things that we need work on. And not that that's one thing to like tear you apart on, but just to observe like nobody's got a home run on that one. And it's like, I spell it out like, hey, we're training, go. And everybody misses it. So we're just that predictable, but that was good.
The other thing I would say, as far as like not having you move as much, is it just made him so angsty, and that's part of the reason he fell off. Is when you were over here trying to like get with your treats and get all your stuff together, he was just losing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Dave stepped in and was like, okay, I'm just gonna like work with this bird. It's really, really important, I think, for you, especially just based on what I'm seeing from him, that you have all your stuff together, you're ready to go, you don't disengage, and you just know, like, this is a training session, everyone leave me the hell alone. Like, this is what's happening right now. Just because it matters so much for Zoey, like, you have to. It's just, this bird demands it.
Yeah.
And the further away you were, the more anxious I saw this bird become. So that's why I was like, can you go over here? Like, I need to bring you close, because Zoey otherwise like could not handle it. So just recognizing that is really important.
So it really comes back to let's set ourselves up for success before a training session. So that has to do with where we place a T-stand in the room. It has to do with if we have to move people or not. Having the treats ready, having the right treat size, having the clicker if you're going to use it, if not, who's going to. And like just little details like that are really important, because every interaction is a training session. Whether we like it or not, these animals are going to do more of the things we like or more of the things we don't like. And another way to put it is if we are not actively training them, they are training us. And so we need to be really specific on how are we measuring success with this training session. When we take them out, what is the behavior we want to see improved? And then just work towards that during the session.
Perfect. And you felt that eye contact that took the initiation, so that was really great.
Nice.
Ooh, I loved that one.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Did you hear what I told her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see he's connecting the dots if that's the cue.
Oh yeah. I know he's smart, it's me.
So we started with a little lure. We turned to maybe possibly avoiding the hand to now just a gentle cue from far away in one sitting.
Right.
2 sessions, but we'll just edit it so it looks like one.
Exactly.
No, we won't. That's fine.
Let's try the same subtle cue. Okay, so that just tells us a little too subtle. Let's make sure we get a win on this. You might have to give him a little bit bigger cue. So let's try kind of in between, not too big, not too small. Okay, so now I want you to think through what would you need to do to guarantee we get a spin this time without luring. There you go.
Awesome.
Cool. So what I love about that is we have a window now. We have a like too small up here, and we have too big down here, but we're working in this middle. But we know where the failure point is, right? And we know where too much luring is. It gives us a great spot to work within. So the goal is to then make the cue as subtle as you can. But one of the things I'm noticing is you're going from like, la, 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 go. And he's like, wait, what? And then he's looking at you like, what'd you tell me? I missed it.
Okay.
So feel free to bring your hands up like you have a treat. If you need to like flash it, look for his attention, and then give the cue.
Okay.
Yep. See how he was starting to go before you even finish your cue? Because he's like, oh, there's my paycheck. I know what I need to do. We have to sometimes give him these subtle reminders. Nice. That was excellent. Did you guys see how she was waiting to have his attention before giving the cue? That was great. And we'll put them away and we'll swap them out. Other questions on kind of what we went through or what the next step is
I feel pretty good about all of that. I think just kind of slowing it down and having myself ready, and I think it was just nice to come here and have you guys watch me and kind of pinpoint what I was doing wrong and where I needed to change, and I think it's gonna go good. I know he's smart.
He's
So
super smart. Yeah, I think that looked good overall, and we'll just fine tune those little things.
Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, yet the #1 most rehomed. If you're interested in joining our mission of saving parrots one person at a time, visit birdtricks.com to learn more about our parrot training courses, organic bird food, all natural parrot toy line, and much, much more. When we know better, we do better. It's through you that we can help people offer only the best quality products to their parrots, along with the knowledge they need to live in harmony with their birds through permission-based training. Visit birdtricks.com today to learn more.